I've always liked cars. There's something about them that brings out emotions and excitement that is hard to top with anything else. And ever since I've been old enough to hold a license, I've always loved Nissans. My S13 Nissan Silvia is to this day the best car that I've ever owned. And even though that story didn't have a happy ending, I just keep going back and chasing that feeling. Next I imported a 180SX from Japan. Then I got a GTIR. I went to Tokyo to choose an S15 from the auctions, and then we built this drift pig. And blasting through the Australian outback in a GTR was an experience that I can still feel resonating in me to this day. But there's a pattern that I've created here. Are we destined to do nothing more than fulfill the ill-written scripts that we write for ourselves and pray to invisible deities that we've invented for our own minds and hope that they're listening in approval while we keep doing the same thing over and over again? What happens if we do something different? So I thought about all the cars I knew that I would never own. Cars that I knew for a fact that I felt nothing for. And probably right up there near the top of that list was the Honda S2000. Because they're slow, boring, overpriced, convertible, and I've never liked convertibles. I didn't have any friends with Hondas, and my only experience with them was being able to beat them in a straight line when I owned my boosted 180SX and that Honda Civic that we built, and you probably know how that one turned out. So what happens when we deviate from the script? What if we decide to do something different? What if we get out of bed in the morning and decide that today is the day we're going to see what's behind all of the doors we've closed in our minds? Will the universe crumble? Will our friends leave us? Probably not. But we may find ourselves completely vulnerable and out of our comfort zones. And this is where the learning begins, as we try and make sense of who we become when we do something that we're not meant to do. And with this in mind, I went out and bought a Honda S2000. I never lay in bed when I was a kid dreaming about owning a Honda, but millions of other people did, so there had to be something in it, and I decided to see firsthand what it was all about. I decided to stay off the Honda forums and not be coloured by any external forces, which was easier than expected because none of my friends actually liked Hondas. After a few months, I found myself drawn to modify it, and then I thought to myself, what are all the mods I've never done before, and what mods does this specific car actually need to make it better for me? And the answer is not many, but this was a surreal concept considering that most of the time we look to other people to tell us what we should do to our own cars, how we should do it, and then we look back to them for approval to make sure we fit their mold. There's so many things I wanted to learn, and this car was the perfect platform to learn some of them because there's mods that I wanted to do that I probably wouldn't do on other cars in the future. So I set a modest budget and it began. We myth-busted cold air intakes, we learned how to lay vinyl, we tried to make power from eBay performance chips and then dissected them in detail to see what they did. We did a nitrous install. I didn't know anything about happy gas other than getting my wisdom teeth taken out, and I certainly hadn't used it in a car. We jumped from 132 kilowatts at the wheels up to almost 180 kilowatts. I battled it out with another inappropriate drag car and ultimately turned an MX-5 owner's face from this to this. I wanted to put in coilovers and then I wondered why. Did the car actually need it? Certainly people would think the car has more cred if I do it the way they want me to, but this is my car, this is my story. What's going to happen if I do something else? What am I going to learn and how will this give me a greater understanding and appreciation of all cars and their owners and the reasons behind why they do the things they do? And this is my Honda. but now I get it. They're fast, agile, planted, balanced, and after modifying it, racing it, living with it, now I know that cars are not the things everyone says they are. They become what we make of them in our minds. They're nothing more than what we make them. And I guess this is the same for cars as it is with people. Is your car making you smile? Is it bringing people together? Are you learning and becoming a better person because of it? If the answer is yes, then your car is doing exactly what it's meant to be doing. I know now why people love these cars, but I'm happy to say I know it because I did it myself, not because I recited the lines of someone else's script. So this is where my journey with the Honda ends. And after 12 months, I'm very excited because I feel like I've earned the right to get back to my roots.
Boost side.
Are you alright? I had a dream. Not a dream. A nightmare. What happened? I dreamt that I owned a Honda. A Honda? Yeah. And I loved it. I loved it so much I justified owning it by ranting philosophical prose about how important it is to own Hondas. You owned an MX-5.
I owned an MX-5?
A turbo MX-5. And we were racing them.
Racing was kind of cool.
We were racing them at a drag strip.
Racing convertibles at a drag strip. Why?
You don't own an MX-5 in real life, do you?
I definitely do not own an MX-5.
And I don't own a Honda, do I?
You definitely don't own a Honda.
I don't. What kind of car do I own?
Your car's just outside.